What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Game Tasty Show, the tastiest podcast on the internet. This is brought to you by Nerd Bacon. I'm Dave the Watchman.
I am Jeff Roth.
And June is almost over. That means the year is half done. Hard to believe, but summer's rolling along, and that means it's time to stay in the house and play video games.
Too damn hot.
Oh my gosh.
This is a sneaky episode this week. I surprised Dave by coming over.
That's right. We haven't really talked about doing anything, so
really nothing huge on the news sites that happened, and we're kind of talking about playing a Samurai Shodown because I even wore my Neo Geo shirt that I got from Vegas from Evo last year, not year before. I was like, "Oh, Dave, let's play some Sam Show." Well, I didn't get it yet. Well,
I haven't bought it yet because I'm cheap.
It's at my apartment.
Cheap.
I've been playing the heck out of it.
How is it? Is it butter?
Review forthcoming next week. It is very, very good. We'll talk more about that later on this very show. How's that?
Oh, sounds good to me. What else do you know? What else is going on?
We'll talk about another game that I am shaking in anticipation for, which is coming out in just a few short hours on my Nintendo Switch. So,
well, I've been still on my Metal Gear Solid 5 kick, so that's been occupying my gaming time as of late. Although I just bought a new external hard drive finally for my Xbox One. So
how big's the drive?
Just a terabyte.
Okay.
So it'll be gone quick.
That's what I've got in my my PS4 is a 1 terabyte external. My Xbox has a 2 terabyte external.
Well, I've had that Game Pass like the trial subscription that was like 3 months for $1. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I've had that. That's gonna run out. And I'm like, I want to play a bunch of games real quick before this thing runs out, but I don't feel like comfortable buying anything because it's like 500 gigabyte hard drive fills up before you know it. So anyway,
my massive, okay, not massive. my 4 terabyte hard drive is the one is my PC.
Ooh. Yeah, I've got a 4 terabyte external one for my PC.
That's the one that I play games on the most. So
yeah, I've got two 2 terabyte hard drives on the PS4.
Oh yes.
So I installed one, and then I ran out of space somehow on that, and now I've got an external on that one.
Sure.
It's ridiculous that I ran out of 2 terabytes worth of games on the PS4.
At some point, I just need to buy an 8 terabyte and call it good, because those things are still they're not too expensive. Those 8 terabyte ones are not terribly priced.
Maybe game prices or game file sizes are just too big.
They are.
Yeah.
And I was checking on my Xbox, and like Red Dead 2 is over like 110, 115 gig, and Halo is at 110, and Gears of War 4 is at 110, and
I wonder if Halo 5 is still downloading in the background, because it started that last night.
I wonder, because FF7 Remake's coming out in March.
Yeah.
And that's on 2 Blu-rays. It's on 2 Blu-rays.
That's a lot.
When you figure that all of Red Dead Redemption 2 is on 1 Blu-ray disc. Can you imagine how much game is on 2 full Blu-ray discs? How much of that is actually cutscenes?
We kind of talked about this last week, though. I wonder how much game actually is going to be on there, because they're only focusing on the Midgar stuff. But the Midgar stuff was pretty lengthy.
Pretty extensive.
In Final Fantasy VII. But it wasn't... I don't know. I wouldn't say it was a third of the game. I don't know if I'd even say it was 25.
Well, this is a whole new experience.
I don't think I'd even say it was like 25% of the game. It just felt like it was like the first, 7 hours maybe?
And everyone wants to rain on my parade and say, oh, Sephiroth's not even in Midgar. He's in the trailers, okay?
Yeah, he's in the trailer.
He's going to be a part of this. Yeah. You can't have anything involving FF7 and not have Sephiroth.
You're not going to throw this out here after waiting 5 years and then be like, hey, you got to wait another 5 years. For Sephiroth.
No,
that's just not going to happen.
No.
Oh my. So, gaming news is really slow this week, except for
some sad news.
Yeah, except for the tragic suicide of Etika. We kind of touched on it a little bit last week, where he had just posted that video saying he was suicidal, like the night before, and then he went missing, and then unfortunately his body was found just a couple days ago. So,
and it was a kind of a downward spiral where he was live streaming him talking to the NYPD and
kind
of getting involved in that. And we were hoping that I was kind of hoping it was just a publicity stunt. I mean, and it's shitty to think that. So obviously we don't want to don't take advantage of a situation, because as someone who has dealt with that stuff before, it's a serious topic, and it seems like it was a serious topic for him, and we didn't know until it was too late.
It was hard to gauge that, when that stuff was going along with the NYPD and everything, whether it was, like I said, whether it was a serious situation or whether it was something just like that turned into a publicity stunt. It might have been a little bit of both. I don't know what all precipitated this downward spiral. I know he first started kind of getting into the mud by like posting hentai or something to his YouTube channel.
There was some adult content that's posted to his YouTube channel, and at that point, then started the wheels fell off the rails
pretty quick. So he ended up like deleting his channel,
right?
And then he started live streaming, but then he like live streamed hentai again or something like that. So that shows that there was something not.
There was some
quite right.
He has a history of mental health issues, and
okay,
and the gaming world lost an influential character. I didn't know about him until you had talked about him last week, but obviously a lot of people were influenced by him and watched a lot of his content, and he was a big part, especially the Nintendo and the Smash scene. So obviously it's hard to go out to him, and as someone who's dealt with that kind of thing before, if you or someone was dealing with that, please call the suicide prevention hotline. That's why it's there.
Right. My thoughts are really scattered on this. I'm not sure how to put it.
It seems very odd.
It sucks.
It does suck.
First off, the only real exposure that I had to him was he'd put out, prior to Nintendo Switch being revealed, or even coming out, I should say, he posted this video where someone had 3D printed a Switch model for him. Mm-hmm. So he holds this thing up at one point during one of his videos. He's like joshing with everyone, like, Nintendo sent me a Switch, bitches. I don't care if I get in trouble. It was really funny. I don't know if the video is still up anymore since his YouTube channel is gone, but that was like the only exposure that I really had to this content, which I thought was funny. That was good stuff. And a lot of people, of course, are wondering, like, would Nintendo actually send this guy a Switch, or was this 3D printed? And then, it turned out it was 3D printed.
You get people talking. So.
And I think it's stuff like that fed into the questions when he was suffering a little bit more of his episodes as to whether those episodes were publicity stunts.
Sure.
I don't want to say that he cried wolf or anything, because it wasn't quite like crying wolf.
Right.
It's so crappy that this thing has happened.
Yeah.
What I worry about, there's of course been the outpouring of grief on the internet, and what I really worry about is because he was such an influential figure, I worry that that the outpouring of support and kind of the canonization of his what will eventually become his legend, so to speak, I worry that feeds into this harmful loop where it inspires other people who are at risk to make similar moves.
Right.
Sort of like how people worry about how when somebody does a mass shooting, like they worry about copycats. There's this whole debate over whether we should print the name of a person who is suspected of or accused of or convicted of pulling off like one of these mass shooting events, because they don't want that name to be lionized throughout history.
Right.
So there's been that debate in the national media because they're worried that it inspires other people to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And that's the big thing that I'm really worried about with this whole Etika episode, with all of the outpouring of grief and everything, that it's going to inspire at-risk people to... They're going to look at it and say, look at all this attention he got, look at all the grief, and he's loved in death, and that's the only way that I'm going to get this love is to follow in his footsteps. And I saw somebody actually, that I follow on Twitter who mentioned that, I tried to kill myself the day after the Etika thing. And I'm like, this is exactly what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
So I don't want this to sound more cruel, and I don't want to be disrespectful to especially his family or his fans or anything. I have a little bit of issue with how people are kind of switching their online profile pictures on Twitter like to his Etika logo.
Okay.
Because that feeds into what I think is like this sympathy loop. Um, I don't know. It's like I said, it's really a lot of mixed feelings on it because we should be able to grieve.
Yeah.
We should be able to say this is a horrible thing, and if you were a fan, express that sorrow. But at the same time, I don't know, like how much praise, how much lionization, canonization, whatever you want to say, should we be giving him? Because ultimately, what he did, and this is where I think it's going to be really harsh sounding, and please take it in the spirit that I'm trying to give it because I'm concerned about people.
Right.
But ultimately, what he did was the most selfish, prickish thing you can do. And yes, he was suffering, and again, please don't take it the wrong way, but suicide is a selfish act. You're saying that you're going to deny the world of your existence, deny the people that loved you of you. And I think the argument against that is these people, somebody who's reached that state doesn't feel that they're worth being loved, and I understand that as well. They don't feel that their life is worth anything, and that's why they end up taking such a dramatic step. It's a very delicate thing, and I hope that I'm doing this justice. But at the bottom line is no one should feel that their life is absolutely useless. I feel terrible for his family. He in that video that he made, he's talking about how he's never going to get to see the ending to Attack on Titan and how he's not going to see, certain relatives grow up and stuff like that. But ultimately, dude, that was your choice to do that. It wasn't that you were pushed into it. He made that choice to not see the end of his favorite anime, to not get to see people grow up. And that choice is going to reverberate in other people's lives. And I'm trying to pull back a little bit. It's tough because a mentally healthy person is going to think more rationally and not pull that off. And that's, the definition of mental illness. I think we need to recognize that what he did was selfish and maybe not put him on such a pedestal as a heroic figure, so to speak. If you understand what I'm saying. Bottom line, what Jeff said earlier is absolutely correct. If you're having those thoughts, if you're feeling suicidal, if you're feeling like you're not worth anything, seek out help. Seek out help, and you can beat it. You can always overcome it. It may take a while, and it might be something that always hangs on a little bit in the back of your mind, but you got to take that step, and you got to try and be stronger than what Etika was. And again, that's not to be a jerk, but I'm trying to help anybody out there who's feeling that, and I'm probably doing a piss poor job. I'm driving other people to kill themselves out.
No, you have to think about
anyway, those are my
others and the ones that care about you.
Right.
Like, and this is a recent episode that I had. I don't know if you even know about it, but I put something on Facebook about a week or so ago because I was in that state.
Sure.
I've been unemployed now for about a month and a half, and my most recent job fell through because it was basically a scam anyway. So.
Oh shit.
So that's a whole other separate issue, but I was at that state, and I put something on Facebook, and you should have seen the immediate outpouring of people who wanted to reach out and help. Mm-hmm. And it's one thing where, I was emotionally overrun with that stuff, but you have to, and as that person, you have to also listen. If you want people to reach out, great. When they do, listen. Mm-hmm. What happened to tragedy, and it sucks. And people don't emulate what he did because he was thinking about himself, not other people.
Right.
Don't emulate him. Don't worship him. He's not a god. He had he made a decision that affected more than just himself, and it's a sucky situation.
Right.
So if you're in that way, reach out and talk to somebody. Someone's always there for you.
And Jesus, I didn't know that you were at that state. I will have to talk about this later. I'm so sorry to hear that.
But hey, we're on the rebound it's because of a support system, and
right.
That's again, you have to open your ears and eyes to others.
I think there's one other aspect that I want to touch on, and you mentioned that you had posted out that kind of the request for help on social media, but for others that might be watching this later, I want to say, don't just rely on social media.
Sure.
You've got to rely, because we allow ourselves, and I kind of touched on this on Twitter after what happened with Etika, but we've allowed ourselves to be drawn into these digital personas. And we have to understand that Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and everything, that's not the real world. And we have to remember to be real people and make real connections, so that's how we survive. Maybe that's what Death Stranding's about.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, reach out on social media. I mean, you can always DM your friends and everything, but don't just rely on that. Make sure you have those real connections and pick up the phone. And there are those suicide hotlines and everything for people if those are needed. And I hope that anyone who's feeling trouble does take advantage of that. But the bottom line, just keep fighting. Really, it does get better eventually, but you got to keep fighting. That's all there is to it.
When you take this final step, you're ultimately giving up.
Yep. There is right behind, you can't see it on camera, but there's a picture from the ending of Street Fighter 2 of Ryu walking off to the sunset, and that's kind of my life motto. The caption there just says, "The fight is all," and it just means you have to keep fighting. There may not be winning. It's just not about winning. It's about the fight. It's about the struggle, and the struggle is good. The struggle is good because it leads to being stronger. So anyway, that's a really heavy topic.
We don't normally get heavy on this show, so it's kind of a nice change of pace.
Well then, let's switch gears. Greg Miller banned from E3 2020.
Was he?
Yeah.
What? Why?
He got an email. I was listening to his podcast. I was listening to his show today.
Like banned from the kind of funny doing a show there or on the show
Greg
floor,
Miller,
or...
the person, is banned apparently, according to the ESA from E3 2020.
Tell me more.
Okay, so apparently somebody tried to sneak into E3 with a badge that belonged to him, and they matched it up, and they're like, "No, you're not Greg Miller, sir." And they've got very strict rules on... They basically accused him of handing his badge out to somebody so they could get in. And of course he didn't do that.
Right. Someone just copied it.
Right. So he's going through it step by step on the show. Anyway, so they sent him an email saying, "No, we've banned you from E3 2020 because we've got all these rules and everything. You violated the rules, so you're banned from E3 2020. Wow. Now, this was like a few hours ago, so I'm sure it's rectified by now.
Sure.
But still... but he's going through, he's trying to remember, when's the last time I had my badge? And it was like literally at the very end of E3, they did the games. He was on the GameSpot panel,
right?
Which is like right at the end of E3. It's like basically that show ends, and then 10 minutes later, they've got the stuff over the loudspeakers. E3 is now ended. You must leave. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So... he had to have his badge to get in, is what he said,
sure.
To be able to do the stage show, which is literally at the end of E3.
Yeah.
So he had his badge at that point. So he's just kind of flabbergasted. I think where it ended up was somebody who tried to make a fake of his.
Oh, of course, yeah.
With the last 3 numbers of his ID badge changed, but still, it's so ridiculous that the ESA is not able to put 2 and 2 together and not realize that somebody with a following the size of Greg Miller is not going to be handing out his badge at the end of E3.
Right.
There's no investigative work that goes into the process.
Yeah, we sold it for you. It was a fake.
Yeah.
Like, ta-da. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, well, this time next year he'll be there. Like,
Absolutely.
It's a matter of, it just sucks he had to go through this red tape to do it.
Yeah, but for a show that is, there are so many question marks surrounding E3 now.
Right.
I mean,
And how public it is anymore. Like the fact that, the public can go to this. And everything on the floor is being live streamed. It's not like you're hiding stuff from us. We know what's there. Why does it matter? At this point?
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean...
Especially when they're trying to sneak in, like, after the show's over.
Sure, and I understand, like, ticket sales, whatever, I get that, but, end of the show, what's this guy gonna do?
Yeah, I have no idea.
So
I'm gonna take some staging home. I've got the metal rafters up here.
It's bunk, but yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah, but anyway, what I was trying to get at was, for an event that has so many questions that are surrounding it now, it seems like a very heavy-handed move to be making with so little investigation behind it. And also, they were letting out a lot of little inside baseball things about how tight-fisted the ESA was with press passes to E3. So basically, kind of funny, they needed like 7 badges for E3 for proper coverage, and the ESA's like, no, you can have 2, and then you can buy the rest.
Wow.
Yeah. And they did that to a lot of outlets as well. It's like, nope, you can have 2 and you can buy the rest. And of course, these are like $1,000 that you needed to put down to get the rest of the badges that you would need. Sure. It's like, who's got that?
Yeah.
Very silly.
Hey, good news for us. There's 2 of us, so.
Yeah, exactly.
When we go to E3 2024, we'll have our 2 passes. By that time, we'll cover the one conference that's there, Microsoft.
Yep, indeed.
Because Microsoft put money and they bought that Nokia theater. So Microsoft ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
That's true.
So it's called Microsoft Theater.
It'd be terrible if E3 just ended up as a Microsoft event.
Yeah, it would suck.
Yeah.
Not because it's Microsoft, but because we want everybody there.
Right. The industry needs like one awesome event for everybody to get together.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe that's going to shift over to the Game Awards, but
maybe it's just, I feel like now, with the PS Experience stuff, and now the XO18, XO19 coming to London here in a little bit. And
when is that date? I just keep seeing the ad that it's happening in London, but I haven't seen any other media on it.
I think it's this fall.
Huh. Okay. Maybe they'll talk a little bit more. They'll talk a bit more about xCloud there.
xCloud, and probably get some more about Scarlet stuff there too. So.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
And then all the Nintendo Directs that'll be popping out, like it's starting to all kind of branch out a little bit.
Speaking of Nintendo, that's another bit of news this week. So, the rumor machine, the evidence is really stacking up that we're gonna get this Switch Mini.
Yes.
Very, very soon.
Why?
Because a lot of accessory manufacturers are already starting to post product listings for accessories for the Switch Mini.
Okay.
So there's one Korean company that posted accessories like cases for the Switch Mini.
Sure.
And explicitly they're saying Switch Mini case.
Okay.
And then Gorilla Glass, they make the great glass protectors for cell phones, and they make a version for the Nintendo Switch.
Right.
Maybe it's not Gorilla Glass. There's another glass company. But they make a great protective cover for the Nintendo Switch screen. Mm-hmm. If you don't have one, you're crazy. You need to get one.
Kind of crazy. I need to get one.
I might have a spare.
I suck at putting those things on because there's a little bubble in the corner. And it's just, this speck of dust that wasn't there 5 seconds ago. Now you're just screwed the entire thing.
Remind me to look. I might have, because they come with 2.
Yeah.
So I might have a spare somewhere.
Well.
Remind me to look. But anyway, they're wonderful. They're only like $10 for a 2-pack. It's definitely essential. Anyway, they had a listing that just came out on Amazon yesterday for a cover for a Switch Mini.
Sure.
Which, oddly enough, they refer to it as a phone. Yeah.
Interesting.
A little bit interesting.
So
a little interesting.
Now, the Switch Mini will not only just be docked, will it actually be smaller?
It will be. I think it's going to be a little bit smaller, and it won't have Joy-Cons, is what I have been led to
Become
believe.
a kind of a more hardwired in controller.
Right,
Okay.
a more hardwired in controller. I swear to God, though, if they replace the buttons on the left Joy-Con, if they replace those with an actual D-pad, I'm gonna be ticked.
Why's that?
Because the D-pad is awesome.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but again, then you couldn't play 1-2 switch on that thing then.
I don't think anybody wants to play 1-2
I'm
switch.
just saying, if you're
Nobody wanted to play it. That's not why there's not going to be a 1-2-3 switch.
there's got to be some sort of Joy-Con stuff there in order to play games that require Joy-Cons.
I don't know. I would need to look into. They just had a system update for the Switch not too long ago.
They did.
I need to look into what was actually updated there. See
Yeah.
if we can see if there are any hidden clues.
Yeah, I hate that. Like usually when I update my my Xbox, it pops up a little video saying, or like in the corner, it's like here's what's new.
Uh-huh.
Or when I update PSN, the first things is view details, and it shows me step by step what's getting updated. With Nintendo, it's just the bar's full, done.
Yep.
I'm like, what updated? Is there a new NES game in my collection? Probably, because I popped it up and 4 more showed up.
Hells no.
Um,
Are there Super NES games in the collection yet?
no.
Hells no.
But
Probably August or September for those.
Probably.
I would say. But who knows?
What do you lead with? Super Metroid? Link to the Past?
Knowing Nintendo,
Super Mario World?
it's probably going to be Mario World.
Pilot Wings?
I'm trying to think.
F-Zero?
That's what I would lead with.
Are we
'cause that was the first
just
stuff.
are we just putting the SNES Mini on the SNES Classic on this?
Yeah, maybe.
We're just
maybe.
putting the SNES Classic on this thing.
Yeah. But that's fine with me.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
I wish they would hurry up with that stuff, man. I'm sick of this drip feeding crap. Either launch a damn channel or just get your shit out.
So I'm trying to think what the last NES games were, like City Connection, Volleyball.
I don't even check out the NES game. I don't know why. Like,
Every once in a while, check and see if it gets updated.
the NES games, like, I played the NES a lot, but I don't know. I feel like my bread and butter years were Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just the art style feels a little bit too archaic for NES games. It makes me sound like a real snob because, I grew up on NES, but still, I don't know. There's just something that's more appealing to me about Super Nintendo games.
Yeah, I would say kind of my heyday, maybe it's right now, but I would say, in my youth with older consoles, I would say Genesis, PS1 was kind of my my bread and butter.
I kind of want that Genesis Mini.
I know.
That looks good. Konami announced that they're doing they are putting out a TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
I saw that. I want one so bad because
that's crazy.
So I never had a TurboGrafx 16.
Neither did I.
My exposure to that was through the Wii.
Sure.
The Wii shop, and playing a lot of the best Bomberman games are on TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah.
And there were some
It's
aspects.
like 8 people in America have the TurboGrafx.
Yeah. And there were some really fantastic games on that console.
There were.
There were some real pieces of crap on there, but I mean it was a big deal. I think it's a big deal over in Europe.
Yep. Big deal in Europe. Big deal in Japan, where it was known as the PC Engine.
PC Engine. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the Ys series got started.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. YS.
The Ys, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Ys.
then,
That's
and then Bonk. The
Bonk
series.
Yep.
Started there.
Bonk, baby. Woo.
NEC. This question was posed to me. Did you want to keep talking about that before I?
Let's do it.
All right. So, this question was posed to me recently. Actually, I was kind of checking the interwebs because Men in Black is coming. Men in Black International's out. If you could get neuralized and play a game from scratch,
Yeah.
experiencing it for the first time again, what game would that be?
I've always said Chrono Trigger.
Sure.
Yeah, just because it's my favorite. And it was just so magical to me when I was younger. So yeah, I think that would be the easy choice for me.
See, for me, I would probably say Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh wow!
And I say it because that was just a joy from beginning to end. And I wouldn't want like the history of Mario to get neuralized because that's kind of what fed into me having so much fun with this because it played into the history of the most well-known video game character of all time.
Okay.
And it was just a pleasurable trip. Holy cow. That can't be real. Thank you for that donation.
Yeah. That's YVK Brody says that he donated $400. Thank you very much.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
super impressive. Thank you so much. But yeah, Super Mario Odyssey, just all of that game was fantastic. I would even say Skyrim, for the first time playing that, experiencing that was fantastic.
What's up, Arguable
Hey, it's the Snail back.
82?
What's up, Snail? Welcome back. We were kind of talking about. I posed the question about if you were to get neuralized Men in Black style,
Yes.
and play a game for the first time again, what would it be? I think you said Chrono Trigger. I said Mario Odyssey because those games just mean a lot to us. I don't know. That's kind of what I would go. If there was one console that you never owned, or one that maybe didn't come out in this country, what is your dream console that you want to own?
I think
Where price wasn't an issue.
I think the Neo Geo.
Yeah, I say
Yeah,
with a Neo Geo shirt.
Neo
but
Geo. I've always kind of wanted to pick up a Saturn, but
I have one.
Yeah, you do have one.
I have one.
Yeah.
It holds up. The Saturn now, I think, holds up better than it did when it first came out.
Maybe. I think there's just that mysterious nostalgic feeling about the Saturn.
Yeah.
Just because it was such a failed system, and there were some good games on the Saturn, but
What I really want to own, and it's going to happen in my life. It's going to happen hopefully soon.
sure.
I want to get a Famicom twin system.
Oh?
So the Famicom twin system, obviously you know what the Famicom is.
Right. And I know what twins are.
Yes. So the Famicom twin, what that is it would play Famicom games, but also the Famicom disc games.
Oh, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
those floppy disks of games, I want to own the disc version of Super Mario Brothers 2.
Gotcha.
I want to own the Castlevania one because it's not really a whole different game, but it's kind of a different game. Like, it has there's an extra sound layer. There's that extra, like, for the soundtrack, they have extra channels for the sound. And it's built kind of like Zelda, where you have 3 save slots. Also, Doki Doki Panic was on the Famicom Disk System.
You can't say Doki Doki Panic without adding some flair to it, though. Doki Doki Panic!
It'd be
Doki
fantastic.
Doki Panic! Eh? Yeah.
Yes. Argument Snail would go Destiny 1 or 2.
Ooh, there you go.
The first time I played Destiny was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was hard not to get wrapped up in
First
Destiny.
time I played the original Halo was pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty sweet.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of those moments that felt like things were changing when you played Halo.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about Mario 64 in the past and how that was like a moment where it's just like when you first played it, if you were, playing games when it originally released,
Right.
playing that for the first time, it's just like you knew nothing was ever going to be the same.
No. So if it feels professional, we're doing it wrong.
It's because we're pros.
we say we're pros. I remember, Mario 64 specifically, I was standing in the Walmarts and the Targets, the demo,
Yes.
as a kid, just constantly just being
Oh,
wowed
yeah.
by that thing. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
that game was mind blowing.
It was mind blowing.
So.
But to my point, Halo was the original Halo, even though it was like 2021 when that came out. Yeah, that still felt like a moment where things were changing as well.
Sure.
And Arguable Snail 82 console that they want to own, Nintendo Switch.
Well, they'll go on discount here before too long.
Who knows? Who knows?
Get some
Or
holiday bundles coming
I know
out.
how we got into this subject. I was talking about the Switch Mini accessories that have been spotted around. So anyway, I saw something where Nintendo at a shareholders event, they were specifically asked about the Switch Mini, and they've basically said, "You hit 72, so you're getting close. You're
We're
getting
getting
close."
there for you, man. We're doing our best here.
I followed. I did my part. If you haven't followed Arguable Snail 82 yet on Mixer, don't be slow as a snail. Get over there. Follow Arguable Snail 82 on Mixer. Anyway,
Switch Mini, come on.
Switch Mini.
God bless
it. So anyway, Nintendo was asked at a shareholders meeting just like yesterday about whether or not, hey, Switch Mini's coming out, and they're like, look, we don't want to spoil surprises for people, all right? So we can't make an announcement at this time. just know we're always working on developing hardware.
Yeah.
So
they're making a new Switch.
Pretty much your answer right there. I think we'll get it. I don't know, maybe July or August. We'll get it.
Welcome.
But thank you for the follow.
Oh yeah,
I see
definitely.
That. I see that.
Definitely. Thank you. Who's that?
that?
Commander Captain Smokey.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Question posed on the Mixer chat. What do you guys think about the new controller that Google has? The Stadia controller.
Stadia one?
It's fine. Like, it looks like an Xbox One controller, honestly. I think it will do the job just fine for Google.
The most intriguing point on that is the fact that the controller itself has a wireless connection.
Right.
When you hook up to Stadia and play Stadia, if you have their controller, the controller is hooking up to Stadia's servers.
Right.
So that helps with the latency. That's smart.
Right.
Very smart. But obviously the cool thing about Stadia is you can use whatever controller you want.
Sure. I do wonder how that will play in, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna play on PC with my Xbox One controllers. It's how will that input lag deal? Obviously, I'm not going to have the Google specific buttons, like for the Google Help. What do they call it? Like there's Google Assistant button. I'm not going to have that unless they map it to some other button on the controller. But I will say the design looks nice. It's very Xbox One like, or the Switch Pro controller. Very
it does. It looks like a cross between those two.
It's clean. It's nothing that's too drastic. I think it's a good kind of dip the toe in.
It's very sterile, just like Google.
It is very sterile.
Yeah.
So. I don't hate it. I think it'll do the job just fine.
It's all right. I would like to play a Stadia game with that controller and also compare that with the Xbox One controller.
Sure.
Just to see, like you said, what that latency factor is like.
Yep, I hear you. But I don't know. The games are in the controller. Basically, the games are basically in the controller.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to think about it.
It's a neat concept. I don't know. I mean, there's something in the back of my head that doesn't sit right about Stadia, mainly because we haven't actually seen it in action yet. Because all we're seeing
beyond that beta,
everyone's it's all just talk, and then there was the beta that you were in for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We haven't really seen a whole lot of it in actual action, so I don't know.
Plus, aren't there other studios like Capcom and Sega that have games that are supposed to be coming to Stadia that we haven't heard about yet?
Right, yeah. They have so many logos behind them there on the Stadia Connect. It's like, and the biggest thing for me, and thing for us as fighting game fans, you need to have that needs to have no input lag, or else you're going to have a real bad experience with fighting games especially.
I think a great way to think about it is it's a really cool console-like thing that's being launched by people who have absolutely no clue what it's like to launch a console.
And they have all
Which
the money.
is crazy because Phil Harrison is behind this.
Right.
Who has a lot of experience.
Right.
But it's like you can tell that Google doesn't really... I don't know. Does it feel like Google is 100% behind this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hard to gauge that because you have their idiot CEO who comes out there. This guy who should be in jail for lying to Congress, Sundar Pichai. He comes out there at their Stadia launch event, and the first thing he says is like, I don't really play a lot of games. Then why the hell are you out there?
That's not the first thing you should say.
Don't come out on stage. If you don't really have much interest in this thing that you're launching, then give it to the executives in your company who do have interest, you stupid asshole. Sorry.
Cheers.
Sorry. I don't like Sundar.
How is that?
I don't like Sundar.
How is that for being professional?
Yeah. It's just it's a really, I don't know. I don't see how somebody at the level of one of the top 3 companies in the world, like Microsoft, Google, and Apple, all like switch position, and Amazon, so one of the top 4.
Sure.
Now it's a Monty Python sketch. Are all like vying. They switch positions every few months over which one is capped at $1 trillion and which one is the most profitable company. But anyway, the point is somebody behind a close to $1 trillion company should not be so obtuse, so clueless as to say, oh, I guess I'll just come out here. I don't give a shit, but I'll just come out here anyway because, I don't know, I'm the CEO or whatever. Don't do it. Just give it to the people who can speak and evangelize about your stupid product.
Give it to Phil Harrison.
Well, I mean, he was there. He was,
Yeah.
but yeah, just keep him.
Have him be the face. Don't be the first. Don't the first thing from your mouth be.
Yeah.
I don't really lost me.
I hate it when CEOs do stupid things.
Well, happens all the time.
It does. It does.
We watched the Pro-Am and the Fortnite Pro-Am tournament. I did not.
Ooh, no.
I did not watch that. I know Xavier, our friend of the site, Xavier Woods, was in that.
Yeah.
I don't watch Fortnite stuff. I'll tell you what I did watch though.
Who did you watch?
What I did watch. The Super Mario Maker 2 Invitational
Hey.
at E3.
Ooh, talk to me about that.
It was kind of boring actually, because it was just.
Oh, should I put it was like 5 tense minutes of this guy sitting there like sweating. Where should I put this block?
No,
is this level design accurate?
So what it was, not the game was boring. The whole show was kind of boring. So it was 4 speedrunners, and the courses were designed ahead of time for them. They were just running through the course to get their best time.
Okay.
First of all, the stream itself, the actual Mario Maker stream was very hitchy, so it really bugged me. Like the actual stream quality on YouTube was very buggy.
Huh.
And at that point, I'm like, oh, because every once in a while just freeze and glitch. I'm like, that just nails on a chalkboard to me. But what I saw of the game and what they can do with that stuff is, and we'll talk about Mario Maker 2.
It's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, before I get into that, apparently Arguable Snail was in the. I'm assuming you were in the Fortnite Pro-Am tournament.
Oh wow!
How'd you do in that? I bet that was a blast.
What was your experience behind that?
They just launched their big summer event with like 14 days of all this new loot and stuff for a big summer event for Fortnite. It kind of makes me want to download it again and try it just to try it again. You know,
I need to stay away from that crack. For some reason, Metal Gear Solid 5 has been my crack for the past like 2 or 3 weeks now.
For me, the past couple days have been all about Samurai Shodown and Breath of the Wild, restarting that. But coming out in just a few hours.
It's like you're so close you could taste it.
But Mario
don't
Maker
put
2.
that cartridge in your mouth. It doesn't taste good.
I've never done that.
Neither have I.
I've not actually licked the
From
cartridge.
what we've been told.
Don't kiss the frog. Don't lick the cartridge.
Yeah.
Super Mario Maker 2 is coming out in just a mere amount of hours.
Feel it. Feel it.
One of my most anticipated games of the year.
How are you feeling? How are you holding up? Are you holding up under pressure? Are you buying it digital, or do you have to wait till the morning to go and collect it?
I'm getting physical.
Physical, so you got to wait even longer.
Well, because when does GameStop open? Like 9? I'm sure they're there already. They've been shipped. They're there.
Oh, yes.
So I gotta wait to go to GameStop in the morning. But Switch games I buy physical because I don't have an extra SD card. So.
Oh yeah.
And it's all I have Smash downloaded, which is like at least half my SD card space. But reviews are coming out. The embargo got lifted. I know IGN gave it a 9.5.
Nice.
And their reviews are getting better. And I was seeing in the comments people actually putting a lot of thought and care into their reviews and actually playing the games first. Novel idea. But
instead of my review system, which is like,
I can't wait. As someone who spent many hours with the Wii U version, I skipped the 3DS one. I'm not excited because that
very
garbage.
Very wise.
I went out and I bought capacitive styluses. So, if you pre-order the game in Europe and Japan, you get the capacitive
Did you
stylus.
jump in a time machine to do this? Because it sounds like you're living in the future.
Living in a box. Living in a cardboard box. To date myself a little bit. So I kept saying, oh, I'm going to use, the 3DS stylus.
Yes.
Well, the Switch screen is capacitive, whereas the Wii U and 3DS are resistant.
Okay.
So those styluses will not work on the Switch.
Son of a biscuit.
And of course, only Europe and Japan are getting the proper styluses.
Why do they hate America so much?
I mean, come on. So I went to our local Best Buy and I picked up a pack of 3. They sell them individually for $10, or a pack of 3 for $20. I said, well, I might as well have the extra one.
You could create with 2 hands and a foot at the same time. You could be a Mario Maker 2 maestro.
be very difficult, but can be done.
I think you could do it.
So what the reviews were saying was that, yes, it's harder to actually make the level on the screen via the controller, but after a couple hours, you can get used to it.
Okay.
And once you become familiar with it, you can be as fast as somebody with the stylus.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to be going out of town this weekend, so I'm going to be in the car right just going... Their biggest complaint was not the versus multiplayer, but the co-op stuff.
Okay.
Because there are... you can't actually choose a level to play co-op online.
Okay.
It picks it randomly. And sometimes those levels aren't built with co-op in mind.
Oh no.
So sometimes your progress can just get halted because that level is not designed for co-op.
Son of a biscuit.
So but they said other than that, like, some things are a little, quality of life could be a little better in some things, but overall this is the game that will sell systems, and if you don't have a Switch already, this will sell systems.
Sure.
And this is even better than the first game, which was my game of the year when that came out. So
great little title to have for a summer launch of the Switch Mini. But I don't know. I don't think you see it until maybe the fall. Maybe you don't see it until Link's Awakening.
yeah, probably not.
I don't know.
My
Doesn't matter.
the-
It's coming.
Here's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
That versus multiplayer stuff has me excited.
Okay.
Because I like sabotaging people's Super Mario Maker run. I like being a dick sometimes.
Sure.
So, racing to the end of a level to get ahead of somebody and affect, like, my ELO. Like, you have, like, a whole ranking system based on how you play Mario, which is insane in 2019.
Yeah.
That excites me. The day-night stuff excites me. I'm not as excited about the the Super Mario World 3D stuff, because there's just so much involved in it. I'm like, when I make levels, it's 1, 3, and World.
Okay.
Those are kind of my main 3.
Sure.
Unless they put 2 in there as DLC,
I was gonna say that is game over.
I'm all for that, but yeah, I just want to sit down and actually do it, and I cannot wait. As somebody who played a lot of the first one, everything about this is just screams, play me 24/7.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to resist buying it right away. I think I'm gonna end up having like the same situation that I had when the first one came out, where it's like it came out and I was like, okay, it's cool, and then the more that I saw of it, and then I saw people streaming it, and I was like, I have to buy it now, have to do it, and I did it.
The dry bones shell.
It's all right.
Has me excited because you can actually get in the dry bones shell and
Sure.
like swim in lava, which you could obviously before, or if you're in the dry bones shell and you hit down the D-pad, you actually like turn like a Kirby thing, and you basically crumble into the dry bones and like become invincible for a while.
Okay.
So you can really, and then all the pathways and the scrolling stuff, and the fact you put and the vertical scrolling levels and the whole you put a line of bricks and the screen will stop there so you can make secret
That's
levels.
awesome.
Like they thought of everything.
Yeah.
It is insane.
It definitely looks much more robust than the original.
It's incredible, and I'm gonna be, I got a engagement to go to tomorrow, a party to go to tomorrow in the early afternoon. But beforehand, well, that's, believe me, I don't know. But I'll be streaming that hopefully early in the morning, as soon as I can wake up, go to GameStop, get it, come back and stream it. So
Nice. Didn't I see something on social media as well from you that you met Edge?
I met Edge? No. So what happened was, I wish I would have met Edge.
I was gonna say.
So I was at a wedding last weekend, and we were at a rooftop bar not too far from here, and I ran into Edge and Christian's favorite NHL player.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
we went to the rooftop bar, and if people are familiar with hockey, Austin Matthews was there. Austin Matthews is like the next Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby. Like he's
Really?
the next franchise player in the NHL.
Really?
Him and Connor McDavid are kind of I mean, Sidney's still there, obviously, being a Penguins fan. Sidney's there. But Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews, they're right there. And he's on a rooftop bar in West Des Moines, Iowa. I'm going, what the
Exactly. How did that unfortunate event befall him?
So, right. So one of the groomsmen to the wedding.
Where did his car break down? Is what I'm trying to say.
So one of the groomsmen, he's also the cover athlete of NHL 20. So he's the next cover athlete for the next video game.
Wow.
So one of the groomsmen in this wedding works for the New York Islanders.
Okay.
And he was in town because he's worked here before, and he's part of the wedding party. Well, we saw one of the New York Islanders players also there on that rooftop. We're like, so I guess that player is from St. Louis. Obviously, the Blues just won the Stanley Cup.
Right.
But they have a friend out in Waterloo.
Oh.
And you can't fly into Waterloo directly. You got to go through Des Moines and all that. So,
sure, and then drive like 50 hours to Waterloo.
Yeah. And then that Islanders player recently got engaged, a couple days prior to that. So they rented out the entire rooftop bar for the engagement party.
Nice.
That's why they were all there. So we're looking around going, who else is here? I guess Sydney here? Is Connor here? Like, we're looking for anybody else we knew. And then, like, the NBA celebrity, like, if you're familiar with Iowa, George Niang shows up, and Naz Long shows up, and Peter Jock shows up. We're like, wow. What? Wow. Huh. Like, we're just standing here.
So you made some friends that night.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I tweeted it to Edge and Christian because they're from Toronto, they're big hockey fans. I'm like, oh, Austin Matthews is here,
Huh.
So, yeah.
That's funny.
It was a real coincidental meetup. I'm like, okay.
So did you get to talk to him, or?
We talked to the Islanders guy. So Austin Matthews was in his circle of friends, and he was kind of he was already he was drinking a lot before we got there, so he was having a good time. I didn't want to bother him, so
gotcha.
We hung out with the New York Islanders guys, and I didn't spend a dime because they kept buying us drinks. So
that's the way to go.
Heck yeah.
That is the way to go.
The worst hangover of my life the next day. And I had to go to the wedding and take my pictures and actually make it through it without throwing up. I made it for my boy.
That's how you do it, man.
Yeah.
That's road ready.
Yeah, it was an eventful weekend.
One-winged gamer Jeff Roth, road ready.
Partying with the stars, man.
Tested and approved.
Partying with the stars.
Oh, man. Okay. Stop keeping me in suspense, you bastard. Tell me about Samurai Shodown.
I bought Samurai Shodown on Tuesday.
Why am I so cheap?
I know. You should have told me what I brought over. The relaunch of SNK's one of their biggest franchises. That's not named King of Fighters. This game is fantastic. So
tell me more.
I've got a review coming out next week on Bacon.com. Keep your eye out for that.
Yes. Tell me more.
Should I start with the good stuff or the bad stuff?
Tell me the good stuff.
It looks tremendous. That Street Fighter 4 art style really pops.
Okay.
And when the hits hit, they hit hard. And like when the action slows down, which is how it did in Sam Show 1, Sam Show 2, and so on. All the hits hit really hard. The levels are beautiful.
Okay.
And they're good recreations of what you saw in Sam Show 1, Sam Show 2.
Okay.
Every character, there's 16 characters in the game right now. 4 more coming via the Season Pass.
Okay.
They all play differently.
Ooh.
Which is great. 'Cause I think with games like Street Fighter and Tekken and Smash, we get so overloaded with characters, and some of them are literal copies of each other.
Right.
Where in this, all 16 characters feel completely different.
Gotcha.
So you gotta find your main. I think I'm more of a Hanzo Hattori main, but we'll see.
Okay.
Because I use Hanzo to beat Maximilian. Anyway,
that's right.
More on that later.
Yeah.
More on that
I'll let
later.
you tell the story.
More on that later. Only character. So I've been trying every character I possibly can. My favorite mode is the Ghost mode.
Okay.
So as you're playing any mode, the game is learning from you. Sort of like a Forza Drive Guitar sort of thing.
Yeah.
The game's learning how you play this game. So you can go to the dojo, get to the Ghost mode. It gives you a random list of ghosts from other players you can fight against. Oh. And then you can use that you can download their ghosts for later, or just, rack them up one to the other and just fight. Which I think keeps the game fresh.
Okay.
It also gets you ready for online play, because if that's how real people play, you're going to face real people online. So I think that's really neat. There's also an Iron Man challenge, which is take on 100 in a row.
Son of a bitch.
Which I haven't done yet because I need time. But that's fun. The story mode, I will say, it feels dated. basically it's kind of the same lineup of characters. You have your rival, you have your Street Fighter 4 rival fight, and then the big boss fight at the end.
Okay.
But the presentation of the prologues, the epilogues for all story modes, beautiful. They have the samurai, the Japanese panels of the art just roll into the screen, and it looks feudal Japan. It keeps that theme going, and that stuff is gorgeous.
Okay.
Even if the actual structure is kind of bland. I'm trying to think what else I really love about it. I mean, I love everything about it, really. Honestly, each character comes with about 4 different colors in their costumes. Not different costumes, but 4 different colors. There are some characters that have kind of retro, kind of more cel shaded, kind of blurry skins. Like Harumaru has one from the retro style, kind of the more blocky polygon style costumes. Also, with Season Pass, you get one of those for one of the characters in there.
Gotcha.
The tutorial is lame.
Oh.
Because it does a really poor job of explaining all the mechanics. Because at the heart, it's simple. You have light, medium, heavy, kick. That's kind of your basics. But also you have like dodge. You have your rage arch. You have your blade attack. And the tutorial does a really bad job of explaining itself. It's kind of like, hey, move forward. Okay, here's where you move forward. Next, you flip from move forward and jump. It takes way too much time to teach you about how to jump faster than about how to dodge attacks and why you want to do that. So, I hold MK11 right now as one of the best tutorials in fighting games. Period.
Okay.
This is not horrible, but it's not good, which sucks. And I wish there was a character specific, kind of like in DOA 6, you could play a character specific tutorial and it will walk you through every move that character has, which is great.
Yeah.
Samsho doesn't have that. Samsho does not have that at all, and it had a decent training mode, but the tutorial is kind of balls.
It's tough to do a good tutorial.
It is. The netcode is decent. I would say it's better than Soul Calibur.
Okay.
But it's not as good as MK11. I would say it's kind of on par with something like a Street Fighter V, which I know doesn't sound great, but it's okay for the most part.
Gotcha.
So hopefully that picks up.
I've had pretty good luck with Soul Calibur code, though.
Me on the PC version?
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm on the PS4 version.
It's not good.
But you have the PS4 version of Samsho, though.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So overall, recommended?
Yes, very much so.
Well worth your $60?
Yeah.
Rub it on my
I would
face.
say so. And especially, get the season pass before Sunday because it's free.
Yes.
You get 4, and they've announced all 4 characters. I forget their names right now. You've announced all 4 characters, when they're coming. They're coming out in August, October, December, and February. So every 2 months you get a new character.
And then on to season 2.
Right.
So for those at home, the only reason that I've skipped it so far is because I've got GameFly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I sent my last rented game out. I sent that back like a couple days before Samsho came out. And I'm just waiting for them to send my next game in the queue. Samsho's at the top. So I'm hoping that they send that because then I'll just keep it. And then I get to keep it for like the used price, which is like $45 or something like that. Yep. So I'm trying to save those extra dollars.
But no, if you want to see me actually playing the game, head over to twitch.tv/Jefferoth and watch me play about 3 to 4 hours of just messing around in Samsho.
What happened the other night at around the 2-hour mark?
Yeah, so I go on to online, take my skills online. I'm about 50-50 right now.
Taking it to the streets, as they say.
I'm about 50-50 right now. Won or lost about 11 or so on each side.
I would kill to be. Well, I wouldn't kill, but I would love to be 50-50 in a fighting game right now.
Yeah, I had a good groove. I would win 2, lose 1. Win 2, lose 1. I had a good groove going.
Gotcha.
Then I got matched up with, and also online matchmaking is kind of weird how they handle that, but I'll get the review out there. I got matched up with one Maximilian dude.
Yes!
Who is like one of, if not the biggest fighting game streamer or personality.
Aside from you, he's my favorite. No, seriously, he's my favorite favorite streamer. Period.
Thank you. So yeah, I got matched up and I saw his record was set because you can show your record on the main screen.
Uh-huh.
It's like he's 17-1. Oh god, I'm gonna get screwed. And then I saw his name like, oh shit, it's Maximilian, dude. And I know he's streaming this because it's day one. He's streaming this fighting games day one. And so I lose him. I have this clipped out over on the Twitch page. So I got matched up with Maximilian, dude, and the first match goes as you expect. I never got perfected. I never lost that.
There
bad.
you go. There you
I
go.
lost pretty bad, but I didn't lose that bad. First match, he beat me 2-0. But he, like me, we always do best out of 3. That's how I always roll in fighting games. That's how he rolls. Second match, I win the first round. I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, I got a round. I'm good. Second round, I won. I freaking won.
What?
I beat Now, I am not going to say it was skill. I'm going to say it was mostly luck. But no, that second game, I beat Maximilian, dude, and gave him his second loss ever in Sam Show.
My gosh, dude, that is incredible.
Third game, he worked pretty good, but so he got his win back. But no, and I was kind of watching on it from his perspective, trying to not watch his chat because I'm sure they were just badmouthing me the entire time, like, "Oh, this guy sucks." Well, I mean, Sam Show is a game where you can't play it like a Street Fighter or a Tekken. You can't go in there mashing buttons, or else you're going to lose. So I am always one to pick my spots, and I go for a lot of lows because my time with Tekken has shown me that, or in fighting game in general, low attacks are blocked the least. If you go in there, you can get those sneaky lows in there, maybe knock him down, trip him, sweep him, then get under his skin a little bit. That's kind of my thinking, was get in there, get your shot, back up, zone him a little bit. And he was saying this guy goes for a lot of lows. Well, yeah, because I'm not a professional FGC streamer. I'm still learning the character, but you know what? In the end of the day, the score was 2-1. And I took a win off Maximilian, dude.
That's not bad, man. That's a good story.
It was pretty cool. Because I had a couple of his guys, because my mod in my chat went over to Max's stream, and just said, "Oh, this is my buddy Jeff, we're all streaming right now." And a couple guys from that chat came into mine and just said, "Oh, this is cool that you're doing that." But again, I've never once said it was skill. It was luck that I got it. But kind of a starstruck moment for me matching up against Maximilian.
That is cool. That was so cool. It was cool when we got to meet him at Evo a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Super nice dude.
Yeah, just fantastic dude. Yep. I love that guy.
And now you know somebody who beat him in a game of Sam Show.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, review forthcoming next week. I think I'm very positive on it. There are things that irk me about it, but I am pretty positive on it.
Well, hopefully I will be picking it up tomorrow. We'll see.
If not, then I'll bring it over and we'll play some.
There's like a 90% chance by hook or crook.
Hook or crook
tomorrow.
I know, because the next several days I'm gonna be going deep into Mario Maker. So
that's right. Be going blocks deep.
And I'm glad, because this past couple of weeks has been really hard on the wallet between Mario Maker, Sam Show, and Crash Team Racing, which I did pick up as well.
Sure.
And now I get kind of a break until Marvel Urban Alliance 3 comes out in the middle of July. Mm-hmm. So I can take a break from all that nonsense. So.
A lot of stuff coming out in the summer. Very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in the summer, and not a whole lot in the holiday season, really.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like this holiday season's getting stacked, because you got September, you got Link's Awakening. What do you have in October?
Yeah,
of course, there's
you have Gears 5 in September.
Yep, you got the new Call of Duty, of course, in September or in October. I won't be getting that.
Pokemon's still this year.
Pokemon's in November.
Luigi's Mansion's still this year, isn't it?
Luigi's Mansion's still this year. What are the ones that I want to get? I want to get Death Stranding is in early November.
Sure.
Star Wars.
Oh, Fallen Order? Fallen Jedi?
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order?
Jedi Fallen Order.
I found it.
I can't remember if that's October or November. I think it's November, I say.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think people moved out of the way of October for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Because that's game's going to
You know what is stacked, though? Next spring.
Spring seems to be getting stacked a lot more.
Yeah.
Between Death Stranding and Star Wars and
Ghost Recon. I'm not going to compete that, but Ghost Recon's
Luigi,
still this year.
Luigi and Link's Awakening. And I thought there were a couple of others at the end of the year that I wrote down, but I can't remember now because my brain is old. But yeah, you're right. Next spring is getting crazy.
Between, if people were getting to Watch Dogs Legion, FF7 remakes right there.
That's all that I care about.
Right.
FF7 remake.
Yeah.
I know there's some other stuff
Cyberpunk's
too.
in April.
Fudge, yeah. That's day one for me now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's too good.
Looks sick.
Watch Dogs is a pass, but yeah, those two, Final Fantasy and Cyberpunk, are definitely must buys.
Yep.
What else will be out in the spring?
Bop, bop, bop.
Ori will be out in February?
I think so.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing for me is coming out in March.
There you go. I don't know. There's just a lot of good stuff.
There is. It feels like spring is kind of becoming the new holiday season.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Is it just because in the Q1 get off on a good foot?
Plus this holiday season, I haven't bought as many games this year, so this holiday season will be even more extra rough because I'll want to be getting like the earlier stuff on Black Friday sales. So I want to be getting Sekiro and Devil May Cry 5. Yeah, and Crash Team Racing.
Crash Team Racing pretty good.
Crash
Team
Bloodstained just came out this week. I want to get that.
Yeah.
Switch games hardly ever go on sale.
And when they do, it's like $5 or $10.
Yeah.
Even the ones that have been out for like, it's coming out at launch. How much is it? $45. Screw you.
Yeah.
Man.
Anyway, I'll be looking for Black Friday sales. Although I'm really tempted. Both Devil May Cry. So Target has a deal right now where they've got some games discounted, and then they're giving an extra 30% off if you do in-store pickup. So like, Sekiro would be just like $30 or $35 if you did that. Same with Devil May Cry 5.
Yep.
I'm like really tempted, but at the same time, I'm like, no, you're gonna spend full price on freaking Sam show. So just just hold on to your money, Dave.
I'm kind of hoping that Cadence of Hyrule goes on sale here under
That would
$20
be nice.
here soon because that game looks tremendous. But 25 is, I'm like, hey.
I'm not really too keen on the Steam sale right now. There's not really.
Yeah, I was kind of just seeing if anything major was there, and nothing's kind of jumping out at me just yet. So.
Anyway, what else you got for us this week? I think we're winding up here.
Yeah, I've just been a whole hog into the Sam show and putting a lot of time into that, really enjoying it, and beating Maximilian Dude. Just no
worries.
No humble brag.
No big deal. You
Humble brag
know, it just happens.
I watched Stomping Ground last week, and actually was a pretty entertaining show.
I was going to tune into the end of it, and then it ended early, actually, because I got there about 9:30, 9:40, and was already done.
There's some interesting things happening in WWE right now.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that today. Freaking Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are now in charge of Raw and SmackDown. Yeah, they're in charge of creative for those two.
They must hear the fans just say creative sucks right now, so they get two of the brightest minds in the wrestling industry to come in and...
Isn't it amazing how AEW gets launched and AEW starts hot right off the gate? Isn't it amazing how suddenly WWE has competition and then they're like, oh, hey, maybe we should listen to our fans. What? We're totally listening to you.
Every action is an equal and opposite reaction.
Competition is a good thing.
Sure is.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Next week, we'll see what happens. I'm going to be probably sleep deprived from playing a bunch of Mario Maker 2.
The next couple, I'm not sure. We might be on a hiatus for a couple weeks because I'm not sure if we'll do anything next week because we're on July 4th and everything.
Right.
And then the week after that, I'll be out. I'm taking a trip with my brother-in-law actually out to Vegas.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I'll be out.
Are you going to EVO?
No, I'm not going to EVO.
Yet.
Oh, this weekend I think is CEO.
Yes, because Fyter Fest for AEW is happening at Fyter Fest. They're streaming that for free on Bleacher Report Live.
Nice.
Featuring matches such as Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against Lucha Brothers and a random opponent, a random partner they're choosing.
I'll probably be checking out some CEO action this weekend.
Also, John Moxley versus the bad boy Joey Janela.
Oh.
And in Fatal 4-Way action, MJF versus Adam Hangman Page versus Jungle Boy versus Jimmy Havoc.
When does all this action kick off?
Saturday. I'm not sure what time.
Okay.
Check your local listings.
I will be...
Bleacher Report Live for free.
Nice.
Also, I believe Alex Bailey is going to have a match against Michael Nakazawa.
Yes, he is.
So...
That's crazy.
It'll be actual wrestling. I mean, there'll be a bunch of wrestling at CEO, so you can get fighting games and wrestling all for free.
That's the next one we gotta go to. Is CEO.
CEO,
Yeah,
fantastic. CEO or Combo Breaker, because closer.
that's true.
I mean, because
There's no flight involved. It's just a hotel.
maybe we'll take a donation from earlier and spread that towards CEO.
I'll have to check and see if that's a valid one.
Yeah. Thank you if it is though.
Yeah, if it is, holy crap.
And either the next couple of weeks we'll have some content up on the site. Like I said, my Sam Show review will go up next week when I take a break from Mario Maker. But,
Yep.
Dude, I'm excited.
Anyway, it's summer. Play some games, but also get outside. Get outside.
Unless it's 90 plus degrees, stay inside.
That's the good weather,
Air
man. I
conditioning.
love 90 plus degrees.
I got sunburn happening. I match my shirts.
All right. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this week's issue of the Game Tasty Show. We hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, go ahead and hit the thumbs up on YouTube, hit subscribe, stuff like that. We're not asking for your money. Just want to tell you when we go live.
back
and
on
stuff
YouTube?
Like that. Yeah, we're back on YouTube.
Awesome, great.
Yeah. Anyway, just go ahead and give us a follow. Yeah, it helps us out.
Yeah.
If you don't like us, that's cool too. Constructive criticism is always welcome. And anytime you want to hang out, we're always here every Thursday, unless otherwise noted. We're here every Thursday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central, the most interactive video game news show on the web. That's it.
Bar none.
Game Tasty, everybody. That's it for all of us here at Nerd Bacon. Thanks so much for joining in. We will see you maybe in 2 weeks.
For all of us, I am Jeff Roth.
Oh, yes, and I'm Dave the Watchman. Thanks so much. Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.